Ahead on today's show, our report cards through VGK's first 30 games of the season. We will go through each position. We will also grade Bruce Cassidy and the front office. It's all coming up ahead right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Barry White and Chris Golick here, reporting from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel that is Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off this NFL season. Chris, okay, so I left town, right? I go to Atlanta, and the home of the ECHL Atlanta Gladiators. I didn't know I was going to be standing on the ice for 8 hours, and the air conditioning was on, so got a little sick there. And then I've been at the Dollar Loan Center this past weekend, and guess what? AC on and all that. You told me I should wear 2 pairs of socks, and I do that when I broadcast games because I'm sitting right there on the ice, basically. But I did not know that I was going to be going to the ice. I thought I was getting away from hockey. What's going on here?
Good job, bro.
Okay, so we have our preview after every 10 games of the season, and we give the position groups and some player grades. So let's start with, first of all, we'll start with Cassidy and the front office. George McPhee and Kelly McCrimmon. Again, was this in the last 10 games where I didn't like the fact that McPhee stood in front of everyone at the White House, or was that the previous 10?
I don't know.
Okay. Cassidy, I'm going to give him an A+ because I feel as though he makes the best adjustments in the game. We've watched him now the better part of a season plus, and I just think he does a terrific job. And if VGK wins again, if they take home the cup again, I think it will be because of Cassidy and the way that he coaches this team. He coaches them very hard. He does, and expects a lot out of them.
I mean, I'll open up Cassidy to, I think, the coaching staff as a whole. A couple key metrics right now. Penalty kill last season, 19th. Penalty kill this season, 3rd overall. Power play last season, 18th. Currently this season, 12th overall. So it's not just Cassidy, but John Stevens, Ducharme, and Joel Ward also right now. Joel Ward, the move to bring him on the bench, and the team is scoring goals. I mean, is there a coincidence? A little bit. Is Joel Ward doing something behind the bench that he's seeing and helping the forward units out with? Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, A+ across the board. The team is leading the NHL by, I think, 4 or 6 points right now. I know points percentage a little bit different, but point being is the Golden Knights did bank enough points to have a 4 or 6 point lead on December 14th, the year after they're supposed to be still in a Stanley Cup hangover Vegas flu type of thing.
Yeah, and that is the point that we have to make here on this show, because with the VGK, they somehow find a way, even if they don't get a 2-point night, they're still going to get a point. They're going to force the game into OT. They might lose in a shootout. 11 overtime games this season. That's more than last year. That has to be. I don't think they played that many all of last season, personally.
They'll definitely beat last season if they haven't already. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I mean, it's not just about the fact that they're getting these points right now, but it's about the way the team is post-game. You go back to about a month ago before they had the snake-bitten scoring drought in Philly and Pittsburgh and all that weirdness, the Capitals, that whole little weird road trip right there. When they were winning games and kind of winning ugly, the team was down on themselves. I talked about this on the pod. I wrote about this on Vegas Hockey Now. You cannot tell sometimes a winning and losing post-game presser simply by the mannerism and the attitude, for lack of a better term. I don't mean that in a bad way, just in the way people are carrying themselves after some of these games. So there's a very high standard in that locker room, and it's driven by the process, not by the results,
Not by the
and
process.
not by the pros. Yeah. And that's important right now because, yeah, the results are fun, whatever, but the process matters a heck of a lot more once you get into a 7-game playoff series.
Yeah, and then what are your thoughts on McPhee and especially McCrimmon? I know you're a big McCrimmon fan.
I'm a big McCrimmon fan, and maybe I'm jumping the gun here a little bit, but
You always do. It's okay.
it makes sense in this case. So the Golden
Okay.
Knights defensemen have missed. This is the top 6. So Theodore, Whitecloud, McNabb, Petrangelo, Hagen, Martinez have missed 53 games. That's basically 30% of the 180 they could have totally played. So there's a concern about the age and how the defensemen are wearing down. But now all of a sudden insert Ben Hutton, Caden Korczak, who's injured also, who's going to be adding some injury games to that list, and Braden Pahal. So you have 3 very good, even 4 if Daniil Miramonov can get back into the fold at some point. But you have 3 really good defensive reinforcements. So if there's a concern about the roster that, and we can say McCrimmon and McPhee built together, it's on the defenseman, because the Golden Knights can win with the reinforcements now, but Edmonton's going to be there in the end. Edmonton will probably be in the playoffs. Maybe Edmonton and Vegas are going to clash at some point. You better have all those defensemen ready to go. So if I'm going to grade McPhee and McCrimmon, I'm not going to give an A+ just based on the wearing down, so to speak. I mean, Alec Martinez Whitecloud has missed 14. Martinez has missed 16 games. So there's some wear down happening there. So, I mean, I'll give them probably about a B+, honestly, which is probably lower than anyone in the universe thought I would say.
So are you doing the combo, like the entry there in the 7th at Aqueduct?
McPhee and McCrimmon for today's
The made
exercise
men?
are 1. They're 1 for today's exercise.
It's the made men. And then what was your grade for Cassidy?
The front office is an A+++++, or the coaching staff is an A+++++. That's no way around that. Quick conversation.
Coming up next, we'll take a look at the forward grades. I said graves. The forward grades. Please stay with us
in this town.
Right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Score right away and during the NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. And if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to do it than now. We've got point spreads and player props. We've got over-unders and more. And the folks last night from Creighton University, which lost to UNLV at the Dollar Loan Center, big upset, running Rebels by 15. They all had the amount of points scored for each team, and they took it over. It was like 82 to 68, I think, something like that for Creighton. So you could do that on FanDuel. I was just chit-chatting with those folks from Omaha. They bet crazy. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the National Football League. Welcome back, Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks so much for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. And please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. Tomorrow's WTF with the Friday. And on Saturdays, we've got Chris X Chris. And that's the YouTube exclusive. How's the show going? Good?
It's going good. We're having a lot of fun. Chris is kind of finding his groove. He gets a little too comfortable at times. We got to slow him down a little bit, but he does a good job.
Is he like me? Fun. Does he swear? Does he start ripping people? What does he do?
He doesn't rip people. He rips me every now and then. That's about it.
Let's talk about the forward group for the VGK. So they have really come together again for a second season. And you go up and down this lineup, Chris, and the roster, and you've got Eichel and Stone and Carlson and Marchessault and Stevenson and Barbashev. And they're just producing points right now. It's really interesting how on each night, it's not the same player that has had to step up. So Eichel doesn't have to shoulder the burden. Okay, 28 points for Carlson. Is he one of the fastest skaters on the team? Did you hear Cassidy said he's one of the fast? I don't believe that. I'm sorry. Is he?
I'm trying to think.
Cassidy said he's one of the fastest
I
skaters. I
mean,
don't think
I
so.
think
Number
Theodore is
one
the
is
best pound for pound skater, and then
okay.
Stevenson, or maybe the other way around.
And what about Eichel? He just glides and he's like, oh, he's like ridiculous. He
Yeah,
doesn't
but I
have
don't
to
know if
like
Eichel will
turn up.
beat Carlson if they were to do a sprint. I honestly don't know the answer to that. I mean, is Carlson's probably in the top 5, I would say. Is he the fastest? I think Stevenson is the fastest skater on the team. A healthy Theodore is probably very close to that. And then you probably have a blend of Eichel and Carlson and Eichel and
I
Carlson
never
by
think
looking
of
at
him as
this
speedy.
lineup.
I think of Stone as speedy before I think of Carlson as fast.
So are you ripping Stone or Carlson? I'm not sure.
I'm not. I'm not ripping either.
Okay.
And for Stone, a player that doesn't work out, he's holding up pretty well. This has to be a 100-point campaign, right, for Eichel this year. 33 points, 29 for Stone, with no physical back issues. All kidding aside, 28 for Carlson, and then you've got Cassidy believing in Marchessault again with 23 points. Stevenson coming on with 17. Contract years for Marchessault and Stevenson, so we'll keep our eyes on that. And for Stevenson, points in what, 3 or 4 straight games. Your thoughts on the
Goals
marquee
in 3
players?
straight, definitely. Goals
Goals
in
in
3
3
straight.
straight. Yeah. Your goals, your thoughts, I should say, on the marquee players.
I mean, before that, I think if we're looking at the forward unit as a whole, I think what's important to look at are the goals scored in the NHL and where the Golden Knights rank. And obviously, the forwards getting most of the scoring. Golden Knights have scored 105 goals. Now, they've played a few more games than some of these teams, only a couple. But point being is the Golden Knights have 105 goals. The Canucks lead the league with 111. Detroit has 106. Vegas and Colorado are tied with 105. So, starting just right there, that definitely gives high marks for the work that the forwards are doing. And I mean, obviously the marquee players, that's an easy conversation, right? There's not going to be, obviously Eichel's having a phenomenal season. I got my stats right here. There we go. Eichel's having a phenomenal year. Stone point per game pace is very, he was a little south. It's funny. I mentioned on the solo podcast on Tuesday morning that Mark Stone was having the quietest 25-point campaign through 29 games I've ever seen in my life. Dude must have heard me and put up a 4 spot against against the Flames on Tuesday. So there you go. He was watching the show.
They always do. They always do, bro.
Marchessault is really kind of finding his groove right now. He mentioned in his post game when I asked him about adjusting on the new line, he feels like he's finding his groove with Stevenson, and you're seeing kind of this new little type of not little. They're both pretty little, so we can say that you're seeing this new synergy created between two very dynamic players. Kind of concerned about the left wing there. We'll see if Howden's going to be the man for the whole year, but that's another show topic.
Well, he's got his own line. He's got his own line.
The Brett Howden line. Brett Howden has 7 points on the Brett Howden line. So there you go.
So for the forwards, I would give the overall forward group a B+. And you asked me last night to name. Sorry for cutting you off there.
No, you're good. You're good.
The 3 stars. I would go Eichel, Stone, and probably Vegas Bjorn. Those would be my 3 stars.
Yeah.
Group. What would you think?
Yeah, no, I can't find a reason to bring anyone else in there. Amadio gets an honorable mention because he's been moved around the lineup and just done very well and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm with you on those 3 for the 3 stars of the forwards. And from a totality perspective, I'm going to grade the forward group. I'm going to go A- just because it's hard for me not to give an A when their team is 3rd or 4th overall in scoring and where they rank and everything. So things going very well for the forward unit. And I'm with you on the 3 stars for the forwards.
And then you've got the complementary players right now, the role players, if you will, with Cotter with 10 points. He went through this scoreless streak for a while. Do you feel that he'll break out in the next 10 games? And then Howden of the Howden line, you talked about him. Has played in 28 of 30 games in Amadio. I think he's done an exceptional job this season.
Yeah, Amadio is the unsung hero through the first 30 games because he can play center, he can play wing, he can play on any of the four lines and adjust his game accordingly. Howden plays a heavy game, but he's finding himself in the box a little bit. I don't know what his year-over-year stats are, but just from the eye test, he's going to the box a lot. He had another borderline. Was it Howden? It was a Cotter. No, Cotter. I'm sorry. Cotter had a relatively borderline hit where he thought he was going to the box. It's actually started a little skirmish in the Flames game where it looked like it was kind of head contact, but he got the shoulder first and it was a perfectly legal hit. So Cotter, he's not doing it with the points, but Cotter is doing all the things that keep you in the lineup of a Cassidy coach team. Win your board battles, work hard, finish your checks. It's not that hard, and Cotter has certainly cracked that code, at least for now. In a playoff series, that's important, but if the team were to go through some type of scoring drought, Cotter's one of Cotter and possibly even Howden are the first two players that get looked at, and complementary players. You still got Pavel Dorofeev, who can't find a way to get into this lineup right now. He's number 19, so to speak, if one of the wingers go down. Not going to come in if it's a center for center situation, but then Howden can go in the middle and stuff like that, depending on how it all shakes out. But I mean, Dorofeev in just 13 games, he's got 6 points. He's basically a 40-point player right now if he was, adjusted for playing the entire season. So if the team ever does need scoring, Cotter has Dorofeev breathing down his neck right now.
Coming up next, we've got defensive grades, and we'll also talk about goaltending with the VGK through the first 30 games of the season. We'll get to all that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it literally every day. I gave AG1 a try way back in the day. That's like over the summer. And it provides a boost in energy, and it also helps you to land immune system support. And I drink it because it gives my body the nutrition that it craves. And Chris drinks it as well. And since we've been drinking AG1, we have noticed an overall healthy feeling, and it really helps us to sleep better. It's a science-driven formulation of vitamins, probiotics, and whole food sourced nutrients. It's a micro habit that delivers macro benefits, and it helps just about everybody take great care of their health every day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then you need to try AG1 and get your free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/NHL Network. That's drinkag1.com/NHL Network. Check it out. We are back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. We appreciate you doing so. WTF, What the Friday? That's tomorrow. And should be a lot of fun. And then Saturday, Chris and Chris show, the YouTube exclusive. Make sure that you subscribe on the YouTube channel. I'm going to sit through that miserable Raiders-Chargers game tonight.
I'm thinking about going tonight, Tony. I'm thinking about it. Actually.
Bargain basement prices.
I posted.
Your Christmas lights are not on, dude. Your Christmas lights are not on. What's going on?
Oh, they're not on. That's okay. So Easton Stick is the starting quarterback for the Chargers tonight, right?
Right.
I bought all these Easton Stick cards back in 2019 just because he has a hockey name. Easton is a former hockey brand. So I have all these Easton Stick autographs and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's starting the game. So yeah, we need Easton Stick to they're already all signed. They already got autographs.
Oh, cool. Okay.
There's an autograph. These are all RPAs and stuff like that.
Does he have a hockey football card, like where he's holding the Easton stick? I saw some photos of him on social media yesterday with an Easton hockey stick.
I don't know, but I need a good game from Easton Stick tonight. If he, because I got all these up on my eBay store right now. If this guy slays it like your shirt does, we're making some money. But I might go tonight. I'm keeping an eye on tickets. It'd probably be a solo run if I did it, but I'm thinking about it. If anyone wants a +1 tonight, let me know.
Awesome. VGK defensive grades. Toughest break on the season for the Blue Liners, the loss of Shea Theodore. 18 points.
Yeah.
2 points per game, just about in 20 games. That's been the biggest loss for this team defensively. You talked about missing 53 games for the top six. And Alex Pietrangelo, 1 goal, 13 assists. He's still playing too many minutes, in my estimation, at 24 minutes and 10 seconds. I think so. And Braden McNabb's got a couple of goals. He's doubled his output from the last 10 years. And Alec Martinez, 14 games. Yeah, I think he's just breaking down, to be honest with you. You can't block that many
he's
shots.
36. He's 36. He's supposed to. Let's be clear about this.
They'll put him on LTIR. They'll play some shenanigans. He'll be back. And then Nick Hague, Zach Whiteclad playing well of late, and Braden Pahal amongst the defensemen. And overall, I'm going to give them a B- because of the injuries. And I'm not feeling great about them. Even when they're plugging in players, I think it's gotten a little loose at times in front of the goaltenders. And what are your thoughts, Chris?
I mean, so starting the way I started with the forwards, let's look at total goals given up right now. And this is interesting because the Golden Knights have played 3 and 4 and 5 games greater than the teams that are ranked higher than them. So the Golden Knights have played 30 games, given up 73 goals, which at the moment is tied for 4th. The Kings at 4 less games played, 65. Bruins 3 games less, 67. Caps 5 games less, 72. So that's an important stat right there for me, just to simply see how they have done overall. The penalty kill, substantial improvements. That said, you gotta show up to work to get. I've had employees when I was in the poker world, right? They're stellar employees, but out of 12 points, they always have their points between 8 and 9. So as a result, they can never get that role model status and that large. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Not get that big bonus that was barely better than the Jelly of the Month Club. So, I'm with you. I'll go probably a solid B, I think, just because of the stats, just because of the penalty kill, just because of the goals against. But I'm not going any higher because the top 6 defensemen have missed approximately 1/3 of the games of the season so far. And is that their fault necessarily? I don't know about that. That's more probably on McPhee and McCrimmon, as we talked about in the first segment. But yeah, you got to show up to work to get that role model status. So, they're strong performers with a B.
We talked yesterday about VGK between the pipes, and I'm still concerned about Logan Thompson and his workload and all of that. He has played 5 of the 6 games since Aiden Hill went down in Vancouver. And Hill, as we said yesterday, absolutely superb. And I said that Hill would be the number 1 goaltender. Am I right? I said
I said we're going to have more starts. Am I right? we're both going to be right, I think, in this somehow.
Okay, put your Christmas lights on, bro.
I got to get up and take my wired earbud out, and that's just a lot of work.
Okay, so this is sort of right. I was thinking about this yesterday.
Oh boy.
It's a reversal of sorts because Cassidy got on LT recently, right? And last year, he officially put Hill in the doghouse. He did. And now Hill 10-2-2. The other guy, Patera, I missed him on Sunday. How did he play?
Oh, Patera was okay. And then I'm trying to think back. I mean, the first goal of the game, Patera didn't really fight through the screen, unfortunately. That happens, but he improved. He really did a good job fighting through screens and making a lot of very good saves through traffic. Serviceable is the answer, which is what he was last year. So Patera's game is expanding.
Earned him a spot on the cup. Yeah.
Okay. You earned him a spot on the cup. There you go. So Patera's going to be okay. If he needs to be relied on for a long period of time, I don't know, but it seems like Aiden Hill is probably plus or minus 7 days of getting back. Team has a practice today. So if he gets back, if he's back practicing with the team today, you could see him as early as Sunday. In all likelihood, he'll be doing the Florida trip.
So Aiden is 16 games played, LT 14. It didn't it wasn't intended to shake out that way, but it's
No.
just the way that it's happening.
60-40 was the split, 100%. 60-40 Aiden
Yeah.
was how this, in
Yeah,
a
but he's
perfect
been
scenario,
injured.
how it was going to go.
He'd be about 70 plus, before the last 5 games. It would be like 16 to 9. It's almost twice as many.
Well,
Okay,
but Thompson would have had 2 starts in that mix, though. Keep in mind,
right.
the way it's been
Okay.
going. So
Goalies. The grade that I'm going to give the goalies, A minus. I've always been concerned about them. I don't know why. Again, I said last year they don't have experience. Well, they've more than proven me wrong in that regard. And they're only as good, the VGK netminders, as the defense. And if that defense breaks down, they're going to be in trouble, I think, at some point.
I'm not going off ifs right now. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we need to. But as far as, I mean, listen, combined, including Yuri Patera's start, a combined save percentage of 9.24.
Mm-hmm.
2.40 goals against. 4th overall, which adjusts to, second overall with the games played in goals given up. That for the first 30 games, that's an A+. Now, the trend, yes, we talked a little about Logan and his workload, and are we concerned? Possibly a little bit. It's fair. Logan, I think, was above a 9.2 save percentage. He's dipped at 9.15 right now, which actually matches last year's save percentage over 31 starts. He was also a 9.15. Goals against a 2.65, whereas it's a 2.40 this year. 2.39 this year. Sorry, I was off by 100th of a point right there. Those numbers will probably go down a little bit. That's just kind of how the trends go throughout the season. But at the moment, it's an A+, but I don't think the next 10 games might have the same grade.
So yesterday, team off. They went out and did some charitable things in the community, which is awesome. And then today, Thursday, VGK back on the ice. They'll be practicing this morning.
Yep.
And then
Goalies also had the season ticket member event last night at the ballpark.
Were you there? Were you there? Okay, what was that like, bro? Come on,
bad
man.
ice. There's bad ice. There's heavy ice.
There was heavy ice.
There's heavy ice. No, so they had the team bought out Enchant over at the Aviators ballpark, which was pretty cool. It's expensive if you were to actually pay for it, but
right, the whole fam went. The whole fam.
Yeah, all 4 of us went there, and honestly,
nice.
the family enjoyed Enchant, and the fact that there was hockey people there was cool. But we spent probably a half hour skating on this like little path that they have there, and it was cool. Like we all rented skates. I was on a different pair of skates, which was very odd.
Is it actual ice or is
it's
it...
ice? It's ice. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like a little path and it like a straightaway. It's a little F1 track, okay, right? You had the strip, right? And then it curved. It got a little narrow behind Koval and did a little wind and stuff. And you even had some of the potholes and stuff.
They put a sphere up there?
There wasn't a sphere there, but there was some pretty cool stuff. But it was a nice time. It was good. Players were spread out throughout the park. Pictures only, unless you, I guess, paid for an elevated package. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was a good time. It was nice, and like I said, it checked 2 boxes for my family because I'll say it. I looked at the prices to go to Enchant, and that's not my cup of tea. But
the kids enjoyed it. The wife enjoyed it.
Exactly. In this situation, it was nice and it was cool. But the ice was a little heavy on that path. There was some heavy ice on there. They need to get out and zam that thing a little bit more. But otherwise, it was great.
I'm sure they had the Christmas lights on, unlike you in your house. I'm sure the Christmas
very,
lights.
Very guilty. 100%.
Okay, real quick before we duck out of here. Buffalo comes into town tomorrow, the Sabres, and Jack Eichel total points in this game. Over under 2.5, 3.5?
14, 15?
What do you think? Is there still a lot of bitterness or has that sort of subsided?
I don't think Eichel has any bitterness towards anyone that wears a jersey for that organization. I don't think he has any issues with current coaches. I think Eichel's issues stem outside of the ice. So teams always want to stick it to their former team, just like Tuck is going to want to stick it to the Golden Knights in a fun, I told
just
you
had
so.
A baby, right? Didn't he have a baby?
Yeah, Tuck last week. I think the same day Amadio did, or plus or minus today. But I'll put Eichel at 2.5 points tomorrow night. That's a good over/under. Maybe juice the under a little bit because one or two is probably a little more likely. but 2.5 points is a good over under. I think he'll be all right. Now, if this game was in Buffalo, I'd put him at about 6.5 points.
Coming up tomorrow, of course, the preview of that game between VGK and Buffalo. And thanks for making us your first listen each and every day, especially our everydayers. Don't forget tomorrow's WTF, What the Friday. Nothing hurts here, Chris. I just have like a tickle in my throat.
Go Easton Stick. Come on, Easton Stick. Let's
go.
Go
Easton Stick. I love that. You need the hockey football card, though.
Game.
There's got to be a hockey football card. I saw
it. Would be unlicensed. It would be unlicensed.
So?
Come on, Easton Stick.
Okay. In any event,
Come on, Easton Stick.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. And we'll be back again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care. You like that ending, huh?
That was pretty good.